Hey, what up? It's your boy Cognac Kenny. What we're doing today is we're doing a taste along. So what I'm gonna suggest you do, if you wanna have a taste along with me, I'll walk you through having a drink of this Hennessy VS, very special, and we'll give it a go. You can appreciate it as much as I can with me, and then, yeah, you can let me know what you think. So first off, get yourself a glass of water, room temperature, preferably. A cup with ice. I'm going with 1 ice cube. So we've got the Hennessy VS, so let's pop it, pour it in, let's give it a go. Love that noise. So what you're gonna do is just pour in a little bit and set your VS aside. Now, first thing you're gonna do with it, I like to swirl it in no particular direction, but I like to swirl it just to give the ice a chance to hit all of the cognac in the glass. What I'll do now is I pick it up and I like to wave it just under the nose and see what notes I can catch. This will just get you acclimatized to what you will smell and taste. So you'll notice in some of my videos, I'll smell the cognac before I take the sip. That's just so I can get the full flavor and the experience out of the cognac. So under the nose, it'll just be slight, just be like hints. And then what I like to do is bring it up to the chin. You'll get a few more notes. At the moment, it kind of smells light. It smells a little bit, not fruity, but it just smells light. It doesn't smell dark. It smells happy and bright. Nose in, have a smell. It's got that real cognac smell. So you've got that fruity type essence, and it's just nice. The reason I like to keep swishing it around is it gives the cognac, gives the ice a chance to go into the cognac, make it cold, ready for your first sip. Now, the very first sip that I do with the cognac, just the slightest bit on your lips and then onto your tongue just to get ready for it. So just the tiniest sip. I start at the front of the tongue, then slowly swish it around towards the back to get the whole tongue ready and let it experience the taste of the cognac. After the first taste is done, I like to just give it a little bit, let it sit. At the moment, what I can taste is a little bit of the tingle, a little bit of the cognac, not burn, but just that cognac tingle just on the tongue. I can taste it evenly, but evenly across the tongue, but predominantly towards the middle. I've got the very tip of the tongue, then it kind of eases off, then it comes back, and then it's completely gone at the back. Now it's completely gone at the back because it started off very hard at the front. That's where it was introduced to my tongue was introduced to the cognac, and then it's gone back through and back over. So now, second sip, slightly bigger than the last sip, but nothing too big. I like to rest it on the tongue and try to almost cup the tongue so the cognac can rest on it. I then like to let it fall over so you've got the sides of the mouth, and then at that point in time I like to lift up the tongue so you get the flavor of the roof. At that point in time I will then open up the mouth cavity and just let the cognac go down and just drink it as it is. So now the cognac, I haven't been pretentious and swished it all around the mouth, but I've just let it touch everywhere and experience everywhere. But I've let it touch everywhere, I've let it experience everywhere and just do its thing. So now what I would call the final sip, which is the sip that you'd be taking after you're acclimatized to the cognac, is this sip. a little bit of a swirl, a little bit of a taste. Now that you've smelt it and tasted it, coming back to the smell, it smells sweeter. The anticipation is there because you've already had those notes on your tongue, and you're almost salivating. You're anticipating it and you want it. And like, I always think the first, like, that sip just works. So after the third sip, I feel like that is where the cognac will be sitting. At this point, I like to go the very first sip. I don't like to really class it as a sip, but it's just an introduction. The second sip is always better than the first because your tongue your mouth understands what the cognac is and what it's going to be. By the third sip, it's diluted slightly from the first initial sip. So then you end up with a slightly different taste than the first time. Not as strong, but not in a bad way. And then once you get to the fourth, it just, like, my ice cube has completely melted because the cognac here is at room temperature. So my ice cube has completely melted. So now the cognac is cold, but it's completely diluted. And because it's completely diluted, it's kind of changed it around. It's changed it from something that is very harsh and sharp into something that's a little bit more mellow, and I wouldn't say enjoyable, but just it's a different character. What's happened is the cognac has gone from a very sharp, hard, fast taste and experience to something that is more mellowed out throughout each sip. So I would describe it as the first sip is 0 to 100 to 0 in 3 seconds. First second 0, second is 100, third second 0. It's really sharp, really fast. The second sip, it starts off at 0, it'll go 50, it'll go 100, it'll go 50, it'll go 0 over a longer period of time. And the more you sip, the more that curve kind of happens. And I feel like I enjoy the third sip on. Once I get to the fourth, the fifth, so yeah, once I get to the fourth or the fifth, that's where I feel like the cognac settled in. It knows where it is. I know where I am, and we both come together, and it's just an enjoyable drink. At this point in time, this is where you just sit back and enjoy the drink. Most people, when they first drink the cognac, the first taste is always a little bit, ooh, I don't know about this. Oh, it's strong. Oh, I want to put a mixer in. But once you that's why you do the very, very small sip at the start. So you're not overwhelmed with that flavor and that taste. You just introduce to it. Then the second sip, you kind of bring in more on. So by the third sip, you are taking a sip that someone would traditionally take on the first sip. Now they're acclimatized to it so they can enjoy it more. And as the drink goes on, and as you become more inebriated, your senses are gonna slightly dull, and the cognac is gonna slightly mellow out with the dilution with the ice. And then you're just gonna end up with a drink that you could be walking around the club, walking around home, at a barbecue, in your backyard, just enjoying on its own. Last one. Done. It's just good. So if you tasted along with me, I'd like to know what you thought. So like, comment, subscribe. Also hit me up on socials, Instagram and Twitter. I'd like to know what you think about Hennessy VS. Let me know how you drink your cognac. If you have a different routine, if you add 2 ice cubes, if you prefer it with a mixer, tell me how you like it, because I'd love to know and I'd love to give it a go. Thanks. That's your boy Cognac Kenny out.